So next I'm going to talk about drug-facilitated sexual assault in college. So I'm going to ask y'all a question and tell me if you think it's a myth or a fact. So most sexual assaults occur in public or outdoors?
Probably in public. I don't know.
It's okay.
It's a myth.
It's a myth. It's okay. These are the questions I put that most people don't know the answer to. I didn't know the answer to a lot of them before I looked them up. So they mostly happen in a place that is private, where the perpetrator can have the control. Most sexual assaults occur between acquaintances, myth or fact?
Myth?
It is a fact, actually. I also thought that it was a myth before I looked it up. Most of them, or most victims, do know their perpetrator before the assault happens. Sexual assault is about sexual desire.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I got it working finally.
Perfect.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Sexual assault is about sexual desire.
No, it's about control and power.
Exactly. Perfect. Not actually about the act of sex. Serial rapists are common, myth or fact?
Fact.
Yes. Just like when we're little and we get away with something, and we don't get in trouble for it, people are inclined to continue doing something if they get away with it. So it's always important that if something does happen, to report it. If there is not a clear no, it's okay to have sex with someone. They didn't say no, they didn't say yes.
Myth.
Correct. If there's not a clear sound mind yes from both parties, then it is not a yes or not consent. So what is drug-facilitated sexual assault? You can kind of guess it from the name. It is when drugs or alcohol are used to compromise an individual's ability to consent. If you are drunk or under the influence of anything, you technically cannot consent. And why is it important for us to talk to you about that? So in a college campus, there is drinking really anywhere. So it's just important to always be safe and be aware of what can happen. We want you to know how to understand how to intervene as a bystander. And then we'll talk about the prevention, intervention, and responses. So date rape drugs, I just wanted to go over a couple of them. Roofies is the most commonly talked about one. You just drop it in a drink and it dissolves. The maker actually decided to put a blue dye into the roofie to try to prevent this from happening. But if you have a darker drink or if the cup is a darker color, you might not notice it. It will stay in your body for 72 hours. So if you got a rape kit done in Georgia 3 days after, it's not going to show up, and it's tasteless and odorless, so you have no idea that it's in there. The same for GHB and ketamine. It stays in your body for hardly any time. It works quickly, and you're not going to taste it and realize it's there. So the effects of these drugs is amnesia, blackout, confusion, impaired judgment, slow breathing, slurred speech, all reasons that the perpetrator would give it to a victim to impair their ability to consent. So 74 to 79% of sexual assaults do involve alcohol or drug consumption. That's why it's very important to always be careful when you're out drinking. So it's dangerous because like I just said, if it is involved, it It diminishes your capacity for consent. You might not even know that it's going on. You could be confused or impaired. You might wake up in the morning and not remember if you consented or not. But if you have to ask yourself that question, you did not consent. It's pretty easy to get. It's not that expensive, and the victim could possibly go unconscious and not even realize that anything had happened. So it's important to not only be aware of yourself, but be looking around at other people at parties or at bars. So if you see that someone is pushing someone to drink more than they want, giving them stronger drinks, like pushing shots on them, encouraging them to drink when they're already visibly drunk, obviously giving them drugs without their consent. And if you see someone at a bar or at a party, like slowly like move in on someone that's already visibly intoxicated. So the bystander effect, which Mallory is going to talk about in more detail, but basically it's that people are less likely to speak up if there's a lot of people around. We start to think, well, someone else will intervene, someone else will do something about it, but it's important to always intervene if you think that something's going to happen. Don't wait for someone else to. Yeah, so you'd rather intervene and be safe rather than sorry. So I've done this many times at like bars or at parties, and I've been wrong, but a couple of times I have been right. So that's why I keep saying it's important just to do it in case. So always pull the victim aside. If you ask something in front of the perpetrator, you could actually put the victim in more danger. So you want to make sure that you get them away from the perpetrator, ask them to go to the bathroom, ask them if they want another drink, say you need their help. There's like just tons of ways that you can just ask, like get them away from that situation. And if you decide that they do need help and you're in the area where we are, call us. We have the 24-hour hotline, like Faith said, so someone will answer and we will talk you through what you need to do. If they don't want help, find a way to get them home safely without the perpetrator. Ask them if they have a friend that can pick them up, a family member, anything like that. Just make sure that you don't leave them and just assume that they'll make it home. And just pay attention, intervene, even if you think you're wrong. It's not that big of a deal if you're wrong. It's not awkward. It's better to be there and help someone out than to not say anything because you're nervous about it. And always call us if you need help.